What's the story, guys? Welcome to another podcast. This is Marcus Deegan. Get ready for this one, baby! Thanks for joining us. Today's podcast is sponsored by Founders Coffee, the most tasty, delectable coffee here in Las Vegas. Now, check it out. It's right across the road from IKEA on Durango. If you take your What Happens Here promo code, which is WHH, you're going to get 10% off your order. Also, Baller Balm, the most essential beard balm in the business for when your beard needs to be money. And, of course, today's episode is proudly fueled by Proper 12 Irish Whiskey, the most tasty Irish gold on the planet. Thanks for joining us, guys. Welcome along to another podcast. This is Marcus. Great to have you here in Las Vegas, man. Got another exciting one for you here today. The room is surrounded by buddies, friends, and love. We've got Russians, we've got Australians, we've got Americans, we've got Irishmen. We've got the whole kit and caboodle in here today. So thanks very much for joining us. I want to introduce you to a few people in the room. First of all, my main man, Matt, my co-host, #1 culinary chef.
Cheers, guys. How you guys doing out there? Thanks for watching.
What's up, Matty boy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. Good to see you.
Another episode.
Another episode.
Here we go.
Here we go. I don't know.
It's time.
The trend of Matthews is happening today because once again I have another great Matthew in the house, a friend of mine and a buddy, a work colleague, a business partner. We've been together for about 22 years now. Business-wise.
Not together.
Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to Matthew Fardell. What's up, buddy?
Hey, mate, how are you? Good to be here.
Mate,
what a great studio.
Thank you very much. You're here at Show Creator Studio. They are really stepping up the level. But thank you very much, mate. It's good to have you here.
Good to be here.
A little bit of nostalgia going on right here now.
I'm super excited for your guest today.
Thank you.
Super excited.
I'm super excited for my guest today as well because this is a man that I have absolutely no clue about. Hence the reason why I brought in my two buddies. He is the director of sports science at the UFC. He works up at the most prestigious. I mean, this building is state of the art. It's like no other. Would you please welcome to the show today, sports science director of the UFC, Mr. Roman Fomin. What's up, buddy?
All good. Thank you very much for the invitation, Marcus. I'm glad to be here. Thank you, everybody.
Now, we can hear there's a little bit of an accent out there for everyone that's listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or iHeartRadio. Where's that accent from?
Oh, truly from Russia, with love.
From Russia with love. I think the only other famous saying from a movie for them, Russia with love, is, I must break you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So first of all, thanks very much for coming on. It's great to have you here in the studio. So for everyone that's listening that might not even know what a director of sports science is, because it sounds like a very complicated title. Can you just give us a little bit of a brief rundown on what your requirement is and what your position is?
3 years ago when UFC PI was open, so we started using sports science as a core to be able to support our athletes, not just based on some guessing or some, kind of assumptions, but using objective scientific information. So when athletes come into UFC PI, first what they do a lot of different test assessments. We build first their profile based on objective data around their physical qualities, around their, physical preparedness, etc. And then we build training solutions, training program for them, or optimize these programs. So we are not doing anything before we measure. So this is what it means.
So how many of those programs is there involved in that one testing element when these fighters are getting tested? How many different things do they have to go through to see the level of where they're at?
Right. So we have, let's say, gold package testing, like primarily testing battery. It's about, let's say, 20 different tests, as well as if we want to go deeper with around particular kind of details, physiological peculiarities, or whatever it could be, we apply even more. We have maybe 20 different tests and assessments more. So we have 4 departments: strength and conditioning, nutrition, sports science department, as well as physical therapy and sport medicine. And each department using their own battery of tests, assessments. So, for example, strength and conditioning, they primarily focusing on evaluation physical qualities, speed, strength, power, endurance, etc. So sports science is focusing around bioenergetics, their energy systems, etc. Sport medicine, obviously, around injury prevention, orthopedic evaluation, concussion assessments, etc. And nutrition, of course, around body composition. And as as soon as we understand current functional state of the body, we are able to make better decisions around what has to be optimized, what we need to pay attention more, less, etc.
Now, are you involved in all of those 4 facets of that?
Yeah, sports science is very
Man.
multidisciplinary, and so sports science department not just delivering some test and assessment, but we do pretty comprehensive analytics.
Yeah.
So we combine different pieces of data and we build models, including predictive analytics, trying to predict what will be happen if we apply this type of training, this type of nutrition, etc.
That was going to be one of my questions. Do you guys actually build these ideas of how things are supposed to be from experience of other fighters that you have shown these tests? Do you build a database on that? Okay, so it's not something that you just pull out of a book. You guys are actually learning and producing stuff as you go. For instance, I mean, every fighter is different from the other, so I'm sure that every single fighter has different categories that they need to improve on. What's the really satisfying part about your job?
Oh, so it's so exciting to have high-profile elite athletes and work with them. This is first. Second, what we are doing, we're breaking barriers.
Yeah.
We're making people better. I mean, in terms of their performance, in terms of their physical abilities, etc. It's so exciting to bring athletes on the next level to develop their, physical preparedness, sport mastery, etc. And see, so for example, they perform 25 minutes with 1 minute rest between rounds, non-stop on a high intensity, showing all their arsenal of skills. Right, so exciting to see, instead of just after first round, fighter get tired and can't continue, not because he lost all of his skills, but because there are no physical capacity available, no energy, high lactic acid or whatever it could be, metabolic waste, etc. So in DPI, what we're doing, we're building this first physical capacity to be able to fight and demonstrate your excellence during fight. So it's so exciting. And of course, we're using innovations, technologies, a bunch of very cool tools. We have like 50 plus different technologies in DPI, data streams, data feeds. And we're trying to collect as much data as we can to be able to make decisions, again, not just based on guessing, but based on objective information around your recovery, around your sleep, around your performance, etc.
What a gig. Yeah. So were you a sports fan? Primarily, were you a combat sports fan before you started this job?
I was working with combat sports like almost all my life. Part of my PhD is actually wrestling, sambo, Russian sambo. You're familiar, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah. It's very popular in UFC right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and, when I grew up, my first sport was sambo, actually. So it's it was mandatory on that time. If you're a boy, you have to do some certain,
Now explain what sambo is to some of my some of my viewers that don't know. Some of them think that you're talking about dancing right now. No, that's not what we're talking about. Samba is a dance, but samba is.
Samba is. I'm familiar with quite formal definition of samba.
Yeah.
So originally, that system was created to be able to defend yourself from opponent, from enemy, and it was distributed massively across whole country for population, kind of preparing them to be able to, fight against enemy in any cases, any situations. And it was implemented in military, and then was adopted in sport, etc., etc. And there are some variations like combat sambo, more aggressive, more offensive, etc.
Yeah. And I have noticed that with the Russian armies, they teach their soldiers combat sports as well as obviously guns and whatever else. But they combat arm-to-arm combat sports.
Hand-to-hand.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Hand-to-hand, arm-to-arm, same thing.
Yeah.
It's all on the same end of it. Yeah, Matt.
Yeah, so how was it? I got to ask, how was it working at the most state-of-the-art facility in the world, for MMA?
I'm a big fan of gadgets, technologies. And before UFC, I was working in a company, in high-tech company. We design, produce, manufacture devices to be able remotely measure athletes' readiness, athlete recovery, etc. And I'm like, I'm using a lot of different tools, and of course, to have these 50 plus different technologies, to be able to see what is happening in real time in your body in terms of how your metabolism is working, how everything is changing. In our lab, in innovation lab, in the PI, we have big screen, and if you want to kind of do VO2 max test, you will be able to see real time what is happening in your body.
Wow.
So exciting, right?
Wow.
And when athletes capable to see, okay, my heart rate is growing, right? My breathing frequency is increasing. So they will become more involved in this process. They're more curious about what is happening in their body, and we'll love this process.
Yeah, and I suppose with with technology these days, you get to see a lot more. It's like the $6 million man is actually really coming to life here in 2020. Now, I suppose a little bit different for you, Matt, when you were studying back in college with because obviously the technology wasn't as developed it is.
No.
Is this amazing to hear all this kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, just it's phenomenal, really. And I think you touched on it there, where you're talking about giving that feedback to the fighters would actually get them more involved in the training. I don't think people realise how much goes into this. People think you can just go for a run and then you're fit, but you're not. You know, you might be fit for a run, but you're not. That doesn't make you fit for combat sports.
Yeah.
Can you talk about how the fighters get that feedback, and is there particular fighters that latch onto that more?
Yeah. We have fighters, athletes who are involved like fully. They are diving so deep in data. They are using UFC PI like, let's say, 99.9 or even like 100%. So they are going through all, tests, assessments, etc. And for example, I will be using this kind of example. I have a ring, right? But this is not simple ring. This is smart ring with a lot of sensors like heart rate sensor,
Is that
3D
the Oura ring?
accelerometer. Yeah, exactly. Temperature sensor available, and it can collect data 24/7 and provide this feedback. Like every morning, you just wake up, scroll down, and you can see your sleep quality, how much time you spent being in particular sleep phases, what was your resting heart rate, temperature deviation, etc. And you can kind of optimize your training based on this data, this information, I would say. So, for example, if you recovered completely, okay, let's follow plan, let's do maximal type of, maximal volume, maximal intensity type of workout, no limitations. But if you're not completely recovered, like 70% or 60%, probably today is not the best day for maximal training load. Right?
Yeah.
So
yes.
It's like a navigation.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like this is like the skeleton of what's going to happen for your workout the next day, primarily because that takes the data of. Now, where did that come from? Did you invent this?
Oh, no, not me personally.
I was going to say.
But method, what they are using, heart rate variability method. Yeah. I was working in a company who built kind of similar product before UFC, and yes, I was one of the developer of that product.
Oh, wow.
So with the HRV, heart rate variability method, it will show your adaptability. Let's put this way. For example, if I will ask you, hey, right after lunch, hey, let's eat one more burger. You said, Roman, I'm full. I don't have like enough space. So you have no kind of space for extra food, right? So it's similar to adaptability. If your body is not able to get more training load because you're already loaded, right? It's not good to kind of push extra because it might produce kind of negative results. I will ask. Yeah.
You literally said exactly that same thing. We were just having this conversation.
We were just talking about.
It was like, you can flush a toilet, but there's no point in flushing it again until it gets breathing back up with the water. This was the metaphor that he used earlier. So we were having this conversation. You want to elaborate on that?
Well, just because I think a lot of athletes in general think that they have to, the more they train, the more prepared they are. But that's not necessarily the case, is it?
Exactly. So there is a term, it's a slang scientific term, but anyway, I would like to use it. So cost of adaptation, cost. How much your body will pay for particular performance or for particular training session. So not even single movement is for free. Even if I move my finger, I have to spend certain amount of energy, right? So this energy amount is cost what my body is paying. So for example, if I complete one training session, I have to pay from energetics point of view. Let me produce one more word: biological money. It's like your biological cash account, biological money. Yeah, and you are spending. Okay, today I'm spending for this training session, for second training session, for third training session. Question is, do you have still cash available in your body, or you're asking bank, hey, give me more money, because no
if you're
money.
American, you're probably in deficit.
Exactly, and it will produce significant deficit of energy, and especially if athletes can't sleep normally, recover completely. So next day they will feel like tired, overtraining, etc. But they have kind of mindset, oh, I have to go, I have to push through, and it will increase this cost even more. So it's like debt is increasing, and therefore finally it will go to bankruptcy.
Well, we had Johnny Walker on the show. Johnny Walker, he was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he was just telling me some amazing stories how that he was so unconditioned that he would build up lactic acid warming up in the dressing room before he went out for his fight. He would be getting lactic acid build up, and he said, because I didn't know how to pull back, I didn't know how to ease up and pull the reins a bit. Now he's under, he's fighting out at SPG under Coach John Kavanagh, and he said that John was teaching him a lot on how to pull back and ease up and don't overtrain. So that's fascinating that a lot of these fighters, is that just that warrior mentality? They want to just push forward and just go, go, go?
Yeah. There is the more load, the better, the better principle. The more training load I will apply, the higher effect I will get, training effect, or more benefits I will get. But that's not necessarily true. Yes, you will get benefits from training if your adaptability, your trainability is optimal. If you have this space available, right? You load it, you will get benefits. But if you go through this like push more 7 hours on training, so you will go to you might go to overtraining and injuries and illness, suppress your immune system, etc. So there are a lot of negative consequences from this too high amount of load.
So speaking of injuries, what's one of the more common ones that you see at the with UFC fighters? Is it meniscus tears and knee injuries?
A lot of course, knee injuries, but there are kind of different type of injuries during training or fight injuries, etc. So it's like a bunch of spectrum of different injuries.
Right, but would you say that knees is more commonly?
I would say you will need to talk with our physical therapy department about that.
All right, we'll have. I'll give him a call straight after this and see what he or she.
You might have to go to the PI and do a little interview.
We have amazing director of sport medicine department, Heather Linden. I definitely recommend.
Lyndon,
yeah.
She's coming on the show. Heather Linden. Yeah. She actually did a lot of work with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Conor McGregor. She did some work with Conor when he tore his ACL right before the Aldo fight. Now you say that you see all these fighters coming in and out of the UFC. Is there one that really stands out to you that you're not only a fan of, but are just maybe amazed by the quality of their strength and their conditioning? And
so that's a very good question. There are different kind of definitions. What is like athlete?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. What certain level of physical qualities you have to have available, etc. So we have 650 plus
fighters on the roster.
Wow,
that's a lot.
So, and some of them they have amazing skills. Like, I don't know, maybe 1,000 different weapons in their arsenal. I mean, skill-wise. However, their physical side, I mean, fundamental physiological adaptations, for example, their cardiovascular capacity or cardiovascular fitness is lower or reduced, or neuromuscular performance reduced. They have a lot of skills, right? Question is, how can we help you demonstrate these skills during fight? You will think during fight about your strategy, your tactics, your opponent, your game plan. and no need to think about your physiology or how to breathe or how to move your legs or arms, right? Because of fatigue. So we, after completing these different tests, what we do, we're trying to find their potentially limiting factors, and then we elevate this. So, for example, if you're preparing for 5 rounds, 25 minutes, you have amazing speed, power, but lack of, let's say, endurance component. So you can deliver 3 rounds, but after 3rd round, you significantly drop down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so therefore, during training camp, we're focusing on that particular physical quality. We're building physiological...
Maximize their cardio.
Yep, adaptations. So, for example, we can make your heart larger. Yeah, connect your heart, your pump, let's say, with your muscles. They will start working together in harmony, let's put it this way. Yeah, and therefore you can deliver 2 rounds more, not just 3 rounds, and demonstrate your skills, etc. You have higher probability to realize all your potential, not just 70%. So, but there are some fighters who has amazing physical component, physical preparedness level, amazing speed, power, strength. Some of them, I would say, I can qualify for national track and field team. Yeah. So, for example, during this test, what we do, energy metabolism, we measure in different conditions at rest or during load on the treadmill or on a bike, and we see amazing results. So their physical component is highly above average for the roster for particular weight class. However, maybe they have lack of tactical component or even psychological, which is very important, right? You can be amazing fighter from amazing athlete from physical side, but you're going to octagon, 20,000 people around, lights, and just...
So let's talk about that. Is there a mental part to sports science?
Absolutely.
Now, how do you coach someone?
Yeah, how do you work on that?
Yeah, how do you work on that with the fighters?
At UCPI, we are providing these services like a mental coaching, psychological support as well. So,
wow, this is just
That's
I
crazy.
had no idea.
Like a kid in a candy store right now.
I'm just frothing at what you're saying here because I just had no idea. And I'm sure that everybody that's listening didn't really have an idea on it. So it's so fascinating. Sorry to interrupt, but I just had to interject that. So continue.
So there are, let's put this way. So if you start your training first day, right? So what you're trying to develop as a fighter, it's not about strength. It's not about speed. It's not about, there is a term, sport mastery or preparedness level, sport-specific preparedness. And there are different components like physical preparedness, technical, tactical, psychological, intellectual as well. There is intellectual preparedness.
Wow. Yeah.
So
I'm fucked in that department now.
And therefore, if you have all of these components together, like they're matching, you have physical side on place, all your physical qualities, sport-specific skills, etc. They're matching with your ability, like technical, tactical, etc., etc.
And that's different with everyone too, right? There's not one dominant part of that, like
exactly. This is what is exciting in MMA
because it's all different.
So it's all different. So sometimes you need produce amazing speed, power, timing, etc. Right? Sometimes you need just.
Yep. Now, is that natural in the athlete? Like when someone comes in that has precision, timing, and power, is that just their natural ability? So you don't need to work on that as much, or is that something that they have worked on?
Right. So some physical qualities mostly determined by genetics. For example, speed. Yeah, mostly. But there are other physical qualities like endurance.
Right.
Yeah, you can definitely develop this significantly, or strength. As well.
Yep.
So it's art of sports science to determine where we need to produce these changes in your body, in your heart, in muscles, in your respiratory system. Find that place and specifically target this area, and then train, and get the outcome. So if you will have these adaptations available in your body, so you can demonstrate amazing performance. Yeah.
Wow. This is incredible.
So what kind of supplements do you use?
Oh.
That was the other
This
question.
question to sports nutrition department.
We gotta get that guy out here. We gotta get that guy out here, Marcus.
Well, I mean, because it's a commonly asked question that
Yeah.
people think, like, you're talking about all these amazing things that they do at the PI now. They're thinking, like, do they do that
Yeah.
with creatine, with protein powder, with vitamin A, vitamin B? Do they do B12 shots? Do they eat steak? Do they have you know what I mean? There's just so many things. So obviously there is a nutrition department that caters to all of the multivitamin supplementary side that is legal from the commission for the sport.
100% legal. I can confirm as a Russian scientist.
No, absolutely.
Just so you know. Just so you know.
People have those questions though, Roman, you know what I mean? That's why I like to kind of elaborate on it. And what people don't understand is that, you know, when you're involved with with an organization like the UFC, primarily Dana White and the people that run that business, everything is down the line 100% on the board. So there's no shenanigans that goes on with this. So when this Russian scientist says that everything is 100% natural, then that's the way it is, and you have to believe that. That's just so awesome. So as a fan, do you go to the fights?
Absolutely.
Every one of them?
Trying.
Yeah. Which was the last fight that you were at?
That's a good question.
Last fight.
Yeah, what was the last
personally?
fight? Yeah. Do you remember?
It was right before quarantine. I
So
remember.
Connor Cowboy.
Yeah, was it Connor? Did you
Connor
go to
Cowboy.
Cowboy? In July?
No.
No.
Right before
Connor was in
quarantine.
January.
Oh, January.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I meant January.
Not in January. It's a bit of maybe February.
Yeah.
February.
Okay.
And I'm missing that part. I mean, not
Yeah, of
being
course.
in person watching fights for sure, because that atmosphere is so exciting.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Well, we were talking about that before, how there's a mixture between entertainment and sports, and when the UFC combines it together, I mean, when you go and watch a UFC fight, it's like a rock concert with the music, with the lighting, with the sound, with the production, with the atmosphere, with the people. It's really an experience. And for those people that haven't been to a UFC fight in person, you really have to get out of your box and try that out, because it's an experience like no other.
Right.
So you're a very, very lucky man to be working in that. Now, can I ask how old you are?
For sure. Officially saying close to 41.
Yeah.
But again, nobody knows.
So 35. 35.
We'd like to get into those semi-personal questions. What are you going to be for Halloween?
Where?
What are you going to be? Do you know? You're going to
You
dress,
dress up?
My wife, because my wife is kind of stylist and she's organizing all of these things.
Yeah.
So, and because recently I start kind of distribute Oura ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, you remember that Lord of Rings?
Yes.
So she's thinking about that.
Yes.
That's a good idea. So with the Oura ring, how can we plug that?
You?
Yeah.
You personally. So it's pretty easy to order.
Yep.
Yeah. And as soon as you will get your ring in your hands, so it's about, let's say, 10 minutes. Just connect, pair, everything, create account, and you can start using it.
Yep.
Next morning, after you complete sleep, you will see all your data,
Wow.
and the more data Ring will be able to collect from you,
Yep.
the more accurate recommendations you will receive.
The
So
Oura ring. We are going to put a clip in 3, 2, 1. Go to the clip.
Right from the start, the mission was to help people to unleash their full potential, and that's where we succeeded.
The first Oura ring is the best wearable on the market in the measurement of sleep and recovery.
Most of the people seem to love the design.
It's the smallest wearable ever manufactured.
There is many benefits when measuring from the finger. That enables accurate optical measurement, for example.
We wanted to help people to recover from daily mental and physical strain. So we needed to develop a solution that really seamlessly and effortlessly integrates to your life and gives you guidance for better choices. We are so proud to announce the new Oura ring to you all.
Well, there you go. There's the clip right there. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna try that out, because I think it's fascinating that this has been developed.
absolutely, I would say, one of the most robust technology and waterproof
Yep.
It's good.
But how's
Has to
it feel?
be.
How's it feel though?
This is ultralight titanium, so it's
yeah.
it's not like plastic.
Yep.
It's hard to damage, I would say.
Yeah.
So you can punch with it.
Yeah.
I actually have a titanium
Yeah.
plate with 8 screws in my neck.
Oh.
So when I broke my neck, they put titanium in to hold it together.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
He's bionic.
Yeah, the bionic man.
So one more tool on your finger will be. Yeah.
So what's the cost of something like that?
Cheapest $2.99.
Now, and then is there a weekly or a monthly subscription that goes along
No.
with? Really?
Which is good part.
So how does it transfer the data all through
Bluetooth.
Bluetooth?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
It will collect data on the ring, and just as soon as you open your app, so
Yep.
it will transfer data. Then data will go to cloud, and so from cloud, this is how we monitor our athletes.
Yep.
I can see all athletes, and we have some alarm system, notification system.
So if they're drinking alcohol, it comes up. That's it. I'm definitely not getting one of that because my wife is going to be under that. She's going to be like, oh, okay. Again.
Let's put it this way, indirectly, based on assumptions, I can say, something was happening.
So you're married, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you propose to her with the Oura ring? You're like, sweetheart, we want to monitor your sleeping. IV wed.
That's unbelievable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I never used rings, actually.
Yeah.
And my wife was happy.
That you got that on now.
Yes, finally.
Amazing.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
do you go back to Russia? When was the obviously not in the pandemic, but do you go back there much?
I was trying every year, even several times per year. Last time I was in April 2019. We had the event in St. Petersburg, by the way. Yeah, and it was great. It was great. I would love to go back.
Yeah. I loved Russia. I had a great time over there. I thought the people were unbelievable. I love the food. We were discussing the traditional soup over there, borscht, which is kind of, for those of you that haven't had borscht, it's kind of like a tomatoey, it's beetroot flavored vegetable soup, right? Is that would you say that's how you
borscht,
describe it?
Yeah.
Have you had it, Matt?
I have not. No.
Really, Matt? Have
I
you?
have not either. No.
And you're a chef, and you've
I
never.
know.
What the heck's wrong
Damn
with you?
Americans.
Yeah. Damn Americans! You try that, boys. Well, actually, have you? So we are. What happens here? What happens here is that after the podcast, we are going to feed you. So we're going to give you some traditional Australian food. When I say traditional Australian food, I'm talking about the Aussie Project. Now, it's a brand new business here in Las Vegas, which is what we like to call a taste of Australia. So our traditional food in Australia is a meat pie. So we wanted to bring the element of Australia into Las Vegas. So one of our proud sponsors, Alex Biffin from the Aussie Project, is going to bring some pies in at the end of the podcast. And we're going to feed this hungry Russian over here. Yeah.
I would love to
It's
try
delicious.
for
Yeah.
sure.
It's amazing. It's
delicious.
incredible. Shout out.
We've got whiskeys here, but I should have thought and brought vodka. You're not a whiskey drinker?
Sometimes.
Sometimes?
Yeah, sometimes.
So I want you to look right over your left shoulder and grab that bottle. That's for you. That's a special. Yep, that one's for you right there. That's a special gift.
Thank you very much.
Conor McGregor and the guys from Proper 12 sent me over a case of whiskey, and I said I would definitely give it to all my guests. Don't know if you've tried it. It is the tastiest, the finest liquid gold on the planet.
It.
Shout out to Proper 12 for Conor McGregor. Thanks for the whiskey.
Yeah.
So try that one when you're maybe before you dress up as Lord of the Rings.
As a Russian, I can't drink being alone. It's kind of prohibited.
I'll come over. We can have a couple of drinks. No problem. No problem.
Yeah.
So it's
Got you.
always we have to share alcohol.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
yeah.
So how long have you lived in America now?
Almost 10 years. Next year will be 10 years.
Here in Vegas?
Oh, no. I was living in Portland.
Yep.
Yeah.
In Oregon?
Yes, and 3 years ago, I moved to Vegas because of PA.
So was there different requirements that you had to do with your education, considering obviously you studied in Russia? When you came over to America, was there different tests and there was different things that you had to go through to get the requirement to be?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So I went through like evaluation.
Yep.
But I have to mention, I came to the States as a specialist with exceptional abilities for the national interest of the United States status. So
Get that title tattooed on you. Put that on a name tag.
so as a young scientist, so with certain achievements. So
in other words, you're really, really smart.
trying to be.
Now, is that a genetic, or were you just always obsessed with science as a kid?
Yeah, I think second part.
Yep.
Genetics playing some role, but it was. I appreciate that system where when I grew up, it was kind of for free. Education for free. I got school for free, university for free, and it was pretty solid education, I have to say. So like very multidisciplinary and versus nowadays very structured and like old school approach.
Yeah, and it's not like that in Russia.
It's changing as well. I would say.
Yeah.
Here it's more soft, like people asking, "Hey, you want to learn this or want to learn this?" So when I grew up, nobody asked me what I want to learn.
Right.
Physics, biochemistry, mathematics.
So
all scientists.
So everything's
and a little bit of sambo.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. At the same time.
So everything's about science to you. So like, you know, when people talk to you about the other side or heaven or aliens or UFOs, you base all that off science as well. Lately, what's been happening here in 2020, there's been an astronomical amount of UFO sightings that have been spotted all over the world, here in America and
I'd love to know his opinion on this.
and across the globe. Scientifically, do you think it's feasible to say that there is other living beings, entities outside of Earth?
All right, let me provide pure scientific answer.
This is why you ask a scientist about this kind of thing.
Let me pour some more proper.
We're going to get on to Bigfoot after this, so stick around.
So there is thing like hypothesis, right?
Yes.
So in science, we first build hypothesis, and then we test this hypothesis, apply an experiment, right? So we measure and confirm or reject this hypothesis. If we can't measure, we can't confirm or reject. We just can't measure. So that will be my answer. If we can measure aliens and, like
UFOs.
Yeah, exactly. So we can confirm that hypothesis, what you guys built. But if we can't, we don't know till we create some tools, methods, or
So things like eyewitness testimonies and things like that mean nothing to you.
In science, no, nothing. It's a zero.
But personally, in your own heart, let me go this way then. Personally, in your own heart, what is your thoughts on that? Do you put aside the scientists, and let's go into the heart of Roman Fomin.
There we go.
There is certain probability.
All right, here we go. We're scooping now. We're shoveling now.
Yeah, there is certain probability. Yeah, because again, so we measure a certain area in our universe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can check, we can test, but a lot of uncertainty still we have. And therefore, we can't say nothing is there. We can say, oh, there is a probability. Let's build hypothesis.
From probability?
Oh, yeah, because probability is like, let's say, there is...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm not kind of grasping.
So there is, maybe probability is not the right word. So assumption,
right.
Or let's say you are trying to build your hypothesis, that's okay. You can construct and build as you want. So next step will be anyway to check, to test.
Right.
So we need to go to the Rothwell landing. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we need to go to Area 51.
51, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Aliens probably not my area.
Not your area?
It's good to dabble into it.
You said scientist. I've had a couple of proper 12s. I'm thinking scientist. Aliens. Hey, what am I know?
He's a sports scientist. A scientist nonetheless.
Yep.
We're making from normal people aliens. Applying sports science. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I mean, hey, listen. I tell you what. With the things that these UFC fighters that work for the UFC go through, I mean, you think that they are aliens because to watch it, it's just phenomenal to watch and unbelievable, and that's why there's only, as you say, there's only 660 people on the roster out of the entire world, because these athletes are at a different level. And I think people just think that these athletes just walk into the octagon, they do a 12-week training camp, they walk into the octagon and do their business. They don't understand the science behind it. Hence the reason why we had you on the program today was to give us a bit of insight on that. So this weekend is a great big fight. One of your countryman from Dagestan. Khabib Nurmagomedov is fighting Justin Gaethje. This is going to be a huge fight. They talked about having some fans over there in Abu Dhabi. Do you like to make predictions, or do you like to? How do you think that one's going to go? I personally, I think it's going to go the way that it always goes. Khabib, the animal that he is just going to drag him down like a lion drags down a water buffalo.
I have this odd feeling Justin's gonna win. So we are
Really?
we are rifted. Yeah, if he could keep it on the feet and use his takedown defense and throw a lot of uppercuts and manage his distance, he's got this one in the bag.
Now, are you making this assumption or guess because of his last fight with Tony Ferguson and the dominant performance that he had over Tony?
No, overall, they always say like a sports bettor. You go with the long term of what normally happens, and every time Justin keeps it on the feet, he tires guys out. And if you watch Khabib's fights, he normally tires within about the 4th to 5th round. So in the championship rounds, he actually slows down when Justin actually picks up.
Right.
That's when he becomes dangerous.
Yeah.
So even if Khabib takes him down and has 3 10-8 rounds, he's going to have to put a lot of energy forward, and you know a lot about that, where he's going to have to wrestle him and expend a lot of energy to basically keep him on the ground.
Yeah.
Justin's an amazing wrestler. He's going to create a lot of scrambles, and he's very dangerous, and he's got a lot of grit.
Yeah.
And he's a messy fighter. He makes it a brawl no matter what.
Yeah.
And it could be a bad matchup for Khabib. And Khabib knows if he doesn't get him to the ground, it's trouble. And Justin knows if I can't stay up, it's over. So it's going to be an interesting one on Saturday.
So speaking of Khabib, obviously he's pretty well-rounded all round with everything: cardio, striking, wrestling, mental, physical. What's something that you would like work on with Khabib? That's
great question.
What would something that you would have to work on with him? Maybe that now and when you do work on these things, is it because what your data provides? Okay, maybe he needs to work on this little bit a bit more. Can you explain that a bit?
Khabib has been here in the PI, but he was using this facility, our facility, mostly for training.
Right. Okay. So all this sports science stuff was probably done previously in Dagestan or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not like.
Yep.
He hasn't been tested here, and he didn't go through all, sports science.
Interesting. Very interesting.
So as I mentioned before, so we have some athletes who are like fully involved, less involved. That's okay. Some fighters come in just for physical therapy or for nutrition to get like recommendations around their weight management, for example.
Yeah.
Weight cut, whatever it could be.
Sometimes they stop by just for a bite to eat.
Exactly.
You never know.
We have amazing cafeteria.
How do I get a wristband? How do I get a wristband again?
Man.
So this is our strategic goal. Involve 650 athletes in our system, like full engagement, and provide all services what we have for every single fighter. And this is what we are trying to do and applying certain approach. But we are young, so we are just 3 years old. And so more and more fighters involved in this process, but not everybody.
So are you up there 8 hours a day? Is that where you work out of, is the PI?
Yes.
So you're there all the time, you have your own office, you got everything?
My life and my work, actually, they mix.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even, completely separate.
Yeah. I know the feeling. I do know the feeling.
So it's like...
Yeah. So the way that I know Matthew here, Matthew and I have worked together for many years. Maybe we started working together about 20 years ago?
Yeah, 20 years ago, yeah.
So we started working about 20 years ago.
Get us close up by that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So this is Matthew right here, and I believe you are January.
This is 2001, for God's sake.
Where we going?
Girls, eat your heart out.
So this is 2001. So this is 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And then I got
Something going on there with the hand in the trousers.
It's awkward. I didn't know what to do with my hands.
I want to know why you were always. Are you January again? Matt, Oh no, actually, I was January this year. So we have been physically training and performing, and this is why it was so interesting. And I wanted Matt to come on because physically, as you can see, these guys have to be in shape 24/7. This is the Thunder from Down Under crew. It's a dance crew here in Las Vegas. I don't know if you've heard about it. You probably haven't. Women come and watch it.
Right.
It's Australians.
Yeah.
So these guys are physically. They know a lot about. Indirectly about sports science, right, Matt?
That's right. Yeah. One question I had is there an athlete that you can think of who has defied the science? I know it's hard for a scientist to say, but is there someone that's come in, done the battery of tests, you've looked at it, then they've gone and fought, and they've pulled something out that you thought, how did he do that based on what I know about his battery of tests? Does that make sense? Is there someone that's got that heart factor, that unknown factor, where they've gone a distance or further than they should have gone based on the battery of tests? Is there someone that's defied the science? Gone against the science of what you know, athlete A has got this level of VO2 max, and then they get into the ring or the octagon and they've gone further than you thought that they could do. Is there any athlete that's stood out, that's gone against the science?
Good question.
Yeah.
Against the science.
Yeah,
saying against the science.
Yeah. I don't want to trouble.
Red flag for me.
I don't want to trouble. Has there someone that has surprised you how well or how poorly they've performed based on the battery of tests, the information that you've got?
Very good question. So I don't want to use names.
No,
God,
no.
Damn.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Can you mouth it? Just mouth it.
Yeah.
I'm an expert lip reader.
So, why MMA is amazing and beautiful? It's not like, let's say, I love running, I love cycling, like this, type of sports where you're on a bike, or you can control a lot of things.
Right.
On MMA in octagon, there are a lot of, let's put this, degrees of freedom, moving parts around you. As a fighter, I'm trying to control as much as I can. However, I can't control, for example, things around my opponent. Right. So, and therefore, I have to be very flexible and adaptive, ready to change my game plan, etc., and use my available arsenal, not just in terms of skills, but my potential capacity in cardiac system, in my muscles, etc., and deliver desired outcome, deliver useful result, right? So how you combine these things is important. And some fighters, they have this ability. They're using everything what is available in their body, in their mental. They connect these things together and they deliver amazing performance. And just recently, actually, last event has demonstrated one of these example. Again, no names, but so how you connect different components, aspects in your preparation. So preparation, by definition, is the process, right? Preparedness is a result of this process. So when you prepare yourself, you prepare for something, right? What will be happened, and during preparation, we want to make sure you have 100% physical component available, mental component available, technical component available, tactical component available, and during fight, that's your skill, how you take all of these components and all together. Exactly.
Well, they are combined a little bit too. Like you know that when you get tired, let's say your cardio's running out, you can't concentrate as well. Like the coach might be talking to you, and hook left hand, right. You can't think. So
check
can you talk about the
check left hook?
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So there is a tough area. We call this, everything above your anaerobic threshold. When you are using, maybe that's too scientific term, but so there is area, kind of high intensity area when you are using like a lot of glycogen instead of oxygen. and your body will produce a lot of like metabolic waste and
muscles are
acid.
burning.
Muscles burning, and it's not anymore about your skills. It's about your like pure physiology, how to survive, right?
Right.
And if you deliver some words to me when I'm on that conditions, I can't even like get sense from these words.
It's kind of
So therefore, what we do in the PI, we build this threshold higher and higher and higher. So, and fighters will be able to cross this threshold later or never even during the fight. And therefore, they can demonstrate skills, they can think, they can evaluate all situations around them.
Wow.
So this is when I was saying we're increasing their physical capacity. It's not just about speed and power, right?
No,
it's about exactly.
So would you say there's such thing as, I know this is hard asking scientists these kind of questions, as the it factor? The it factor. Do some people just have it?
Have it?
Speed, natural power,
like
natural cardio.
everything that you could put into place. Is there some person that just has it all and that effortlessly can do it, which is what we like to call
Khabib.
Granted by Mother Nature, right?
Granted by Mother Nature, exactly.
Yeah, that's true. There are some fighters who has amazing, not just background, but talent.
Yeah.
Kind of genetic predisposition.
Yep.
And it's playing huge role.
Yep.
So some fighters, they have less talent, but because they are very well organized, structured, they apply systematic approach in their training, they can be better than even talented people.
Without training, just naturally, right?
So if you, for example, you are granted by Mother Nature better than me. For example, you have amazing speed, power, all your genetic predisposition is higher than my genetic predisposition for MMA, let's put it this way. But I'm a big fan of MMA, and I start training. And my training is not random. Yours is random.
Right.
Mine is systematic. My training is very well structured. My day and night balance, training load recovery, very well balanced. So I follow all procedures, and I can be ahead of you.
Right.
Even beat your talent.
Wow.
Do you find that a lot? Is there like an inverse relationship between the naturally talented and whether they want to train as much as opposed to the other way around?
It's very easy to ruin talent, actually. If
Really?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So let me use this example. You are granted by Mother Nature, but you are, let's talk about me maybe. Otherwise, I will sound like angry Russian. So I'm talented, but I'm lazy. Just simply lazy. Yeah. And to be able...
That's my problem.
I can relate to that.
To be able to develop my sport mastery performance, my training load has to be progressive. Right. It has to be increased, right? Because I'm competing not just with random guys from street. I'm competing against elite level athletes who are also training, right?
Right.
So therefore, I have to kind of get more training load, being able to adjust process and increase my performance, right? But I'm lazy. Instead of, let's say, 2 training sessions, just 1. Instead of per day, instead of 6 per week, just 2 per week.
Right.
And therefore, my progress will be very, very little, or applying certain lifestyle, lack of recovery, lack of sleep.
Drinking?
Yes, no. There is no direct correlation, but indirect existed.
Yes!
So, and therefore, you can kind of lost your talent.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, this is why it has to be a system of preparation of the athlete, because this sport is very competitive, and evolution of this sport moving forward, and competitiveness.
The competitiveness is getting more and more, and getting better and better and better.
Younger generation coming with a background, not just with some great skills, but
like Michel Pereira. Have you seen him? Michelle Pereira.
Yes, absolutely.
Shout out to Michelle.
Shout out to
Pereira.
Michelle. He was on the show last week as well.
Right.
So here's the thing. So Matthew has a bachelor's degree in sports science. He's looking for a new job. Is there anything happening up at the UFC Performance Institute? Are you looking for a assistant? Because this man here not only knows a lot about combat sports, he knows a lot about physical training, and he also has the degree. Is that possible at all?
Let's make it clear to my current employer that I'm not looking for a new job.
Let me butt in and say I am looking for a job. If you need help in the smoothie aisle, or if you need help with the performance food, you let me know. Your boy's ready to go.
But I am fascinated by the whole thing, and would love to spend some time during the day or whatever, and just even just watch. You know?
Yeah. Well, maybe you guys should exchange numbers after this, and they're always looking for smart brains. So what normally we do, Roman, is that at the end of the podcast, we always like to get our guests to give a positive comment or note of encouragement to people out there that maybe are either chasing their dreams or maybe not feeling too well about themselves. Is there something positive that you could say to the people that are listening on a scientific comment on?
For sure. Please don't guess. I would say always measure, try to assess, try to get objective information. This is why we have all of these technologies available. If you do some training, you try to measure, evaluate load, recovery, how different physiological processes going in your body. It will help a lot, because if you start collecting information from your body, you start learn from your body, and everything what you do will be more efficient. So, and of course, enjoy MMA and sports science in MMA, and more exciting things coming. So not just around physiology or biomechanics, but for fans as well. So a lot of scientific methods are currently applying to even during fight performance. A lot of metrics available. They will be real time soon. And enjoy whole MMA environment and community, and sport, of course.
Awesome. Matt, got anything to say on a party note, brother?
It's been absolutely fascinating having him here. I mean, just one of the greatest, obviously, in the industry, and just learning and soaking in that
and it makes you want to get in there and start learning. I can feel your
brain ticking over.
I can actually hear it through the headphones. It's yours is ticking. Matt's is kind of like.
I'm thinking about those Australian meat pies in the other room right now. I can't help it.
And he's right. I mean, how many times you walk into a gym and people aren't writing down what they're doing? They're not measuring what they're doing. So they come in, they might do bench press 10 times, and then it might be 8 or 9 days before they come back and do bench press again, and they're expected to remember that? No way.
You know what? Yeah. He always had a book. When we used to work out together, even 22 years ago, he always had, and I used to say to him, why are you writing that shit? Why are you writing that shit down?
That's true scientific approach. Documentation.
That's it. Anything you got to say before we bounce, Matt?
Just want to say it's an absolute honor to have you in. It's awesome picking your brain and hearing all these stories. It's crazy. The director of sports science for the UFC PI. It's fascinating. Honestly, it's fascinating.
Yeah. And once again, we are not only are we fans of the sport, but we also respect everything about it. So I want to thank you very much for coming in. You've been a great guest, man. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed our little podcast here.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation. That was amazing. And I was thinking it will be long, but it's like 5 minutes.
Well, once again, we didn't answer any of we didn't ask any of the questions that we had written down, but that's the way that we work it. We do this podcast as a conversational piece. I didn't know too much about it. I know a lot more about it, and I'm going to learn a lot more about it. I want to say thank you very much to my co-host, my main man Matt, one of my best friends, my brothers Matthew Fardell from Thunder from Down Under, and of course the man with a name that could be a wrestler, Roman Fomin, the director of sports science at the UFC. PI Institute. Pump that music up, and as we say, let's lay down your guns and surrender. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Marcus Dingle for the Women of the Podcast. See you next time.